Thank you for tuning in to the B&RS Show.
So, I've always said it, social media is ruining the world. And I think now more than ever. I think over the last couple years, there's been a light shine shown on it really brightly, more so than ever before.
Not to cut you off, but you know how we said in previous podcasts that there was this huge stretch of time where nothing really happened, and then this technology just happened out of nowhere. Now I think that the effects of it are happening on a minute-to-minute basis. Now it's not even like a yearly thing. Now, literally, minute-to-minute, people are getting dumber and they're doing stupid shit. And it's going from the simple fact that the lady that got the glue in the hair is now signed to one of the biggest agencies in the world.
Like the lady who got the glue in the hair. But then let's be honest though. After that, you have idiots like the guy who's like, oh, that Gorilla Glue is fake, and he glued the cup around his mouth, and they had to rip that shit off, and it fucked up his lips. It's like, yo, what
makes you do that?
But there's a special breed of person on social media though that we both get annoyed with, and it's the social media oversharers who then get mad that what's going on or people are in their business or say something.
So, all right. So when you say oversharing, are you talking about context of the post, or are you talking about the post in itself?
Context of the post.
So sharing too much.
Like oversharing about
because there's different degrees. We know oversharers, the kind of people that post the same flyer 20 times on their fucking feed and always question why nobody's following them, because you're a spammer. Like you're spamming the internet. You don't need to do that shit. Flex your stories.
No, I don't mean like that. I mean like overshare personal details, personal stories, oversharing in that aspect. I meant in that regard.
We know those people. We've actually made fun of a few of them for oversharing a little too much.
Yeah, man. Like it's insane, man. And it's at what point do you just realize if you said nothing, no one would know anything? And you can't be mad at people having an opinion when you put yourself out there for people to have said opinion. So it always just blows my mind with people when
you remember that video with the attorneys where they gave their advice.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
We had a couple clients though. Shut the fuck up, huh? We had some guys get off because we told me shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
That's it.
That is the greatest advice that anyone could give anyone at this point, because anything you say can and will be used against you.
Not in a court of law. And the court of public opinion.
Court of public opinion. And unfortunately, that court
is ruthless.
That shit has its own rules. It has its own leaders. And it's progressing every day. And the more technology we have access to, the more ways, like this cancel culture shit, that's really what it comes down to. The fact that people can get canceled for shit that they say. When you overshare, you're Marty Jannetty. Marty Jannetty's a classic example of
Marty
that shit.
Jannetty's such an idiot.
It's like, bro, you overshared. You put yourself in a bind. You tried to get out of the bind by saying you were in full kayfabe. And everyone knew that you wasn't, bro.
And I made that motherfucker disappear. Like you weren't cutting a promo, buddy. Like you fucked up. You fucked up there, man.
What an idiot, bro. It's like, and then when we make fun of them, we're deemed insensitive. It's not insensitivity if it's fucking logic. Stop sharing so many details about yourself that you don't want to come back. Like, how many times have you told me this? You've drilled this in my head over the years, thousands of fucking times. And now that I'm at a point where I'm relatively quiet about my shit, you see the shit that I post now. I don't post about my personal life rarely ever. And if I do, it's like some story that's just really in the know. Like, you know what the fuck I'm talking about because you were there when I was talking about it.
Yeah. I mean, what it comes down to, man, and like I said, even when I said on a previous podcast, is that everyone just feels like the world needs to know. It's like, I'll give you one. I'll give you the post that annoys me the most. When people are just like, send good energy and this and that vibes and like, send like prayers and like, I feel like I should be told what I'm praying for or what I'm sending good vibes. What if I'm sending good vibes to someone who's a bad person or praying for a bad person? Does that like, do I get like a negative connotation on me through karma like waves through that? Like, you know what I mean?
And that's why there's the thing about social media oversharing is that it's cryptic. They're going to share with you what they want you to know. There's never full transparency in this shit.
Never.
So everyone has an agenda, especially when they go in public to seek approval. Like, there's a reason for that shit. So the simple fact that they're actually doing this should make you question their motive. But then when you find out the real reason why shit happened later on, and you're like, holy shit, I would have never fucking did this if I knew that.
Like, when people was like, when people say there's three stories. There's your side, his side, and the truth. And people frequently forget that there's three sides to the story: your side, their side, and then the truth. And it's almost like people saying, in someone's story, you're the villain, and rightfully so. And your story, yours, the good guy, and your story, yours, the great person. You didn't do anything wrong. But when you look at it, you did. You were in the wrong. And people have a hard time acknowledging that. People have a hard time acknowledging they fucked up. And it's very simple with it. Like I tell people, one of the easiest things to do is acknowledge your wrongdoing. It's not very hard to admit you were wrong. It's to me, like, and that's another thing. Like, people aren't raised in, they don't deal with consequences of actions. If they don't know that there's like consequences to their actions doing certain shit. And with that, this is what we have, what you see. And there's people even like just the dumb things that are just able to gain relevance today. Like, just it's crazy that you have really adults acting like kids. You have grown adults.
It almost makes me feel like, not to cut you off, but it makes me feel like people just never grow up. Like, I feel like there's people that we would consider adults because they seem to have their shit together on surface level, but then those same people would use their money and power because they have their shit together to go do the kid shit behind the scenes that they always wanted to do. The world is a playground. You're always gonna have access to everything when you have the money to do it. Right now, people are looking for easy access. So everyone wants to go viral, and because of that, everyone's exposing themselves. Back in the day, when we used to talk about like conspiracy theories and shit, and people be like, oh, the government's, tracking you. They don't have to. You put the whole goddamn story out there on your own. There's people in car chases right on the road while fucking police is chasing them, streaming that shit live. Showing people the weapon that they're getting chased for.
How many times have we seen it? Like, people doing dumb shit like on live and getting rolled up on, man. It's just people are foolish, man. And when it comes to social media, it's led to quite a different style of phenomenon, so to speak, man. And I don't know what corrects this, man. And I want to say it's
I honestly don't think there's correction.
I think it's gonna get. I think it's gonna get worse, man. I mean, you have to think about it too. You have to think like Facebook is almost like a dinosaur in terms of social media. Zuckerberg does this.
But what? Facebook is relevant to people that want to get their opinions out. The other platforms are for people that's clout chasing. Like, it's a visual thing. When you see people on Facebook, they're not. If they post pictures, they might post a picture here and there, but it's usually a picture that they, click that little Facebook icon on Instagram, and they'll just kind of post it, carry over, and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's going on Facebook to post shit unless they're gonna put a long fucking paragraph about their opinion, and then every comment under that is gonna be a
fucking paragraph.
Like, it's just a continuous thing. The people that do that on Instagram, those are the people that just, I don't know how the fuck you could do that shit, but To me, Facebook is relevant to those people, but what Instagram and TikTok is doing is they're compressing the amount of time that people are willing to give you their attention. And now it's 15 seconds. Next week is going to be 10 seconds. Then it's going to be 5 seconds. And then you got to get people's attention in 1 second. If you can't do something in 1 second, that's going to shock the world.
That's what it's going to end up being, man. And people don't see this. Even like, I'll be like this. How many stupid TikTok challenge dances do we have to have come out every week, every other week? Like, it's to the point now where, and I mean, it ain't kids doing it. It's adults. It's adults out here
Fucking
doing these
adults,
dumbass
bro.
dances. Like, it's ridiculous, man. And it all comes
Don't get it twisted. The teens are doing it. Like the kids do this shit, but it's the adults that try to like really. It's like Rowdy Piper coming out in a Royal Rumble today. It's like you got all this new talent that's kind of dominating screen time, but you're always gonna have these dinosaurs try to creep in, and the fact that they do that shit, it's like. You're only solidifying the fact that you didn't make it on any other platform. Like, if you're gonna go to TikTok, and we said this shit that we was never gonna go to TikTok, and when I told you that I had a TikTok and I only used it for that one free to go, the free to go promo, where I'm literally sipping coffee and the green screen shit is behind me. That was the only time I used it. But now I realize that they have Instagram Reels. So it's pretty much the same exact technology just built into the platform. Now I don't feel like such a dinosaur trending on other people's paths. Like, now I can just do what I need to do. Everybody that gets stuck into these challenges and all this bullshit, bro, the end game is the one thing that's singular in the entire thing, and it's clout. It's not fame. It's clout.
People
don't know what fame is. People don't know what it's like to have a PR person or go to meetings and actually try to close deals with sponsors and put together pitch decks and all that shit. Nobody knows what the fuck that shit is. Everybody just wants to go viral for the clout.
so that they could get paid whatever these people get paid per post. What they say, some of these people get paid like $10,000, $15,000 a post. That's what everybody wants. Oh, I just want to make that for posts. And I mean, people are chasing it, man. I mean, it's like I told you when Instagram Reels came out. I didn't understand it, but like I looked at some of them, it's like they send me nothing but thirst traps in Instagram Reels. It's nothing but thirst traps, and I mean, I see how people could fall for it. I see how people could fall head.
And listen,
head
that
first into it.
algorithm is getting more advanced every day.
Yo, bro, like that algorithm, man, is not really part of this, but that algorithm is part of what led to.
No, it is part of this.
No,
because oversharing on social media is triggering that algorithm to know exactly who you are, exactly what to promote to you.
Nah,
to
but
keep
I mean,
you on the app.
I mean, yeah, like that. But I mean, like that algorithm. Like I mean, like the true connotations of it is how that fueled. Like they tried to say like how these people, let's say like QAnon and everything started, and everybody tries to say. Like it's on like those crazy websites, 8chan, 4chan, and all those message boards. And like when they did the research, they're like, no, wow, that played a part, and that's where the hardened people already were. That's like the people that like stormed the Capitol on the 6th. These people who were sharing these videos, these people were misled by Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. These algorithms that track you and know what to see to you, that know to send you these sponsored ads. That what sponsored ads to send you. And I don't mean like because of your browsing history. I mean because like the sponsored like the sponsored videos on the app, the sponsored shit on the app, the news on the app, the shit.
But then also when you download the app and you have to accept all those terms and conditions that people usually just breeze by, you don't realize you're giving them access to your camera, to your microphone and all that shit. And they're literally tracking everything that you're doing and saying while you're doing and saying it. And the minute there's been times me and you will speak about something, we're talking about the shit.
Open the app and then
the
sponsored
fucking
ad
thing is
for
like
it.
fucking advertised, right? The shit is so crazy right now that the more you share, the more they're gonna get you.
But those algorithms though it's crazy. It like when you I told you the shit they did on HBO, that documentary on Q, how it started and everything, and like it was like he was with them early, and like it's like a couple years of footage, and it's like people crazy, and to like to know that you were misled by essentially a lie, you were gamed, and people fell for it, man. And like they said it, like what these people said it, man. Just keep repeating, and people believe it. Just keep repeating, and people believe it is truth, no matter what.
Our 9-year anniversary is coming up.
23rd.
In about less than 2 weeks. It's gonna be 9 years we've been doing Bud and Roach Show. And it blows my mind to know that the things that we were talking about in conspiracy theory form when we first started this show, we've actually lived long enough to see become true. Mainstream. Not just true, but now it's like a mainstream. Like when we was talking about quote unquote Illuminati and all that shit, like this was something that was always swept under the rug. Like nobody could talk about this shit in public, or you'll be chastised and made fun of and all that shit. And now it's a fucking punchline. But now
it's, I mean, it came to the forefront, and like you said, now it's a punchline. You have, they used to say everyone with conspiracy is a tinfoil hat wearer. Now, well, you're a QAnoner. That's what it is now. That's how they assert
new names, new labels.
And like I said with you, honest to God, when we were talking about it, it's like if QAnon came out when we were on air, when we first started this, I can't honestly say whether or not we wouldn't have fallen for it. I honestly can't say whether or not definitively if we wouldn't have fallen for it and been able to pull our head out of our ass in time.
At that point in time,
I think we would have felt.
I was so hungry to just be against everything that I was just believing everything. You know, every time I went to the store to get a 6-pack, I thought I was going to see a spaceship. If not that, I was going to see a car following me. If not that, I was going to see demons around the block. There was always like something that was going to, you know, take me away.
It's like I've had to keep telling the guys this in the group chats when they see, you know who used to work with who's going overboard. Yeah. And actually I feel for her, man, because she looks like one of the people who've alienated people from her life for it. And
there was a point where she thought that she was saving the world.
I think she still does think she is.
But you also have to remember that one of the big things, one of the fights that I used to have behind the scenes when we first started doing this show was that people were telling me that I should stop trying to save the world by talking about this shit. They was like, yo, you're not going to save the world. You're going to die early. They're going to get you. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. And now that it's become so watered down that anyone who opposes anyone who talks about this shit, now you're the enemy. Now you're the person that's, you know, you're against free speech or whatever the fuck. There's always some bullshit.
Yeah. Without a doubt, man.
Now it's just, I mean, it's a free for all. Now everybody's just getting their bones.
Everybody's getting it off. It's a sad world, but to see how people went down that rabbit hole, to see how social media and just the oversharing, the fake news, the fake sourcing, the fake, like, it's a very real problem, man. And to the point where it's gonna have true, I mean, we've already seen it have true effects on, you know, life. We witnessed it with our own eyes on January 6th with what happened that day. But even before that, man, with these people, with these like let's be honest, man, like people were sharing, like they said like Facebook how hard they had to try tracking that video when that guy shot up the mosque and he was live streaming it. And people, like, when you like the things they do, and like people were like, somewhere I think it's a crime to possess that video. If you have a digital copy of that file, it's considered a crime. I think what happened in New Zealand. Huh?
You saw it?
No. I saw part of, like, on that shit, they show him walk in and him starting it up, and then they cut it off and you just hear the shots and the firing. That's not something I want to see, man. Like, like when people click these things and they're upset, like, oh, I watched this, and they're upset for a few days. Like, you didn't have to click that. I wouldn't want to see that. Like, I told my girl, man, like, this is, again, we're so off topic here. We watched 2020 did a documentary, man, on, not a documentary, but like a little piece on it's like maybe 40 minutes long on when they shot up Vegas, the dude who shot up the festival, and the way the cops were talking, man, the way the people were talking, like, and I told my girl, like, I started crying watching it, but I told my girl, like, in that moment, all I thought about was that night at work, like where we had no idea
that shit went off on 40 Deuce.
Yeah, it was on 40 niggas. Everybody, we just see everybody running, and I told you to see.
And then a couple days after, I went with this asshole to go shoot that promo when he was doing the video.
Like the next day,
movie.
I think he said the day after. It was crazy though, man. It's just like that. Like I told everybody, I told my girl, like you don't know the fear I felt in my heart that day, like not knowing if I was gonna, and even then, man, and then having people like hearing people texting and shit, like people don't understand like the ramifications of shit, man. And like social media oversharing shit in both ways. Let's be honest, both ways, the way we said earlier and the way we're talking about oversharing personal details, of sharing this, oversharing that, is never a good thing. And it never works out good, never plays out well.
You just have to be wary of your track record. I'll leave it with this, and you could close out. There was a time where I downloaded this Chrome plugin that was designed to delete all the shit that I had on my Facebook. And at that point, I was posting about 10 years without ever like scrubbing my Facebook. This was just me as a Facebook user, not as an entertainer. Like I was just putting my shit out there. And the plugin was literally deleting everything in front of me, and it was almost like a checklist, and I see everything that I posted, and I went through 10 years of my life, and it blew my fucking mind, bro. I was talking about what I was eating, what I was thinking, who I was fucking, where I was staying, what I was listening to, what I just did, what I'm doing tomorrow.
Everybody, I mean,
and bro,
what it was back then.
When I'm seeing that shit, what blew my mind, outside of the fact that I just gave the world my life for free, is the fact that as an entertainer, that's what you try to monetize. You want to monetize that content. And I saw 10 years of free content that was just sitting there, where anyone that didn't know me from a fucking hole in the wall could piece together who the fuck I was at the exact moment that I was. And that blew my mind, bro. So stop oversharing on social media.
I mean, people aren't gonna get the message until, I mean, something happens, man. And we've seen it happen already. How many times people get robbed, people get set up, everything happens through social media or something.
Checking in on social media.
They left their message. You get stalked like that. People, have you ever read any of these stories or articles about someone who found out they were being stalked, and it was only because of all the information they put up or made available through social media? Yo, like, people don't even fucking realize. Yo, I remember reading an article one time, and this is where we'll wrap this. Reading an article, and this is, I want to say at some point last year, and there was a lady who said she had no idea, and like she saw a picture, and someone sent it to her, and it was like a page that was taking pictures from her page and putting them on like a she was a curvier, more chesty woman. And just a random page and like saying crude like comments underneath it, like taking her pictures on like a Facebook, Instagram page and like making crude oh yeah, bust these titties up, like, shit niggas like that would say.
Stupid.
And so when she said, like, reading about how she felt, like, you can understand how someone would feel like a piece of shit after seeing that, knowing that these motherfuckers is doing that with your photos. You know what I'm saying? You don't take photos for that. You know what I'm saying? It's a wild, wild world. And I try to tell mad people that it's a wild, wild world. Watch what you do. Do it better.
And don't ever post pictures of your children naked.
Never. That is.
Not as a joke. Not on the toilet. Not cleaning the diaper. None of that. None of that.
Nope. I tell a few people that. You told me you've had to tell a few people that. But people don't think. The people, it's innocent.
Like, how stupid do you have to be?
People just don't. People do not think. And they just think it's an innocent thing and don't know that. So, with you posting that, you just.
It's the world.
You produced. No, doing that. Once you post that and post goes live, you just produced legally, technically, under the terms of it,
Child pornography.
yeah, you just produce child pornography there. And for people like that in the world, I'm sorry, we know that these people exist in this world. We've watched almost every episode of To Catch a Predator. We know these sick fucks exist.
Think of it like this. Imagine you're in a bar, in a dirty bar, and you're surrounded by a bunch of sketchy motherfuckers. And you have printed 25 photos of your naked child, and you go to each table and start handing them out. That's exactly what you're doing on a fucking global scale.
And God forbid your shit is public and you sickos see it, and it's like, or even when they say people like, it's just the amount people share and they shouldn't. People don't want to listen. People don't read. People don't want to take in information, and it's all readily available. You just gotta want it, man. It's a mad world, man. I'm glad that you're a parent. You and B are very attentive parents. Most parents I know, friends with kids, are very attentive. I think we grew up in the right time for us to understand the dangers of the world. We grew up in a very real time. When the internet came out, you had to worry about predators on there, so we had to learn about that shit. And there's like, I'll say there's like a break in. There was like at some point a break in people taking shit serious. We knew, like, I want to say our generation, we had to take all this shit extremely serious. It wasn't all a joke. It wasn't just like.
It was probably a joke to kids until like Mr. Soho. When people saw, holy shit, this guy that was here, like here teaching us, gets busted for this shit. This shit is real. And I think it was after that I first went on the sex registry and did a search around the neighborhood. And you start seeing you can read what happened.
What happened is available. It's public record. They have to. That's why they have the registry, and they have to register. And people in the neighborhoods have a right to know what they were accused of. You know, who or what they did. And it's crazy.
And it all, like, the entire process of keeping people like that caged away goes kapoof if they have access to social media in prison and you're posting fucking pictures of your naked kids.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I know they get computer access and like some of them, but that's like a privilege. Not everyone gets that.
Bro, there's so much. Like, I'm a World Star guy.
I'm not. You know what it is?
I see the footage.
Niggas, World Star. Bro. What they have is the problem is how cell phones are getting in. Niggas doing video.
They have everybody in there got a cell phone. Like, that shit is crazy right now, bro.
That's the issue. But I mean, with that being said, man, people watch what you share. Make smarter choices using social media. It affects your life, your kids' lives, your family's lives. Be smarter out there, man. And of course, you need to get anything from Bud and Roach, man. You just go over to budandroach.com or follow us on the Instagrams.
And of course, the entire archive is available on Patreon. You can go back to 2012 and relive the beginning with us. Patreon.com/budandroach. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys already know we do the fucking.
You already know we do the fucking hurt.
Thank you for tuning in to the Bud and Roach Show.